This fish should not exist. It has no real tail. It barely swims, and yet, it is the heaviest bony fish on Earth. Drifting silently through the open ocean, the ocean sunfish looks less like a predator, and more like a mistake that somehow survived evolution. But this is where the story becomes uncomfortable, because in parts of the world, this animal is not admired, not protected, not left alone. It is eaten, not during famine, not in desperation, but out of curiosity, tradition, and the human desire to taste the forbiddens. The ocean sunfish carries parasites more than almost any other fish in the sea. Some of its organs can poison you if prepared incorrectly, and still, it appears on menus. So why do people continue to eat it? Is this an ancient cultural practice we don't fully understand? Or is it a dangerous habit we've normalized simply because we can? This is not just a story about food. It's a story about curiosity without limits, about tradition without question, and about how far humans are willing to go when faced with something rare, strange, and vulnerable. This is the story of the ocean sunfish, and in many ways, it is a story about us. To understand why humans eat the ocean sunfish, we first need to understand what it really is. The ocean sunfish is known to science as mola mola. It is the largest bony fish alive today. A fully grown individual can weigh over 2,000 kilograms. That's heavier than a small car, and nearly as tall as a grown human. Despite its size, the sunfish is not a fast swimmer. In fact, it barely swims at all. It drifts, carried by currents across the open ocean. The sunfish has no true tail. Instead, its body ends abruptly in a stiff, rounded fin. This unusual shape makes it look unfinished, almost like an evolutionary accident. For decades, scientists believed exactly that. In the open ocean sunfish has almost no defenses. It cannot swim fast. It cannot hide. Its body offers no camouflage, no sharp teeth, no venom. Even juvenile sunfish fall prey to sharks, sea lions, and large predatory fish. Most encounters are not fights. They are simply losses. The sunfish survives not through strength, but through numbers. A single female can release over 300 million eggs in one spawning cycle, more than almost any other vertebrate on Earth. Most of these eggs will never hatch. Most larvae will not survive their first days, but a few will, and that is enough. This is the sunfish's only defense. But nature rarely creates something without reason. Ocean sunfish live in temperate and tropical seas worldwide, from the Pacific to the Atlantic, and even parts of the Indian Ocean. They spend most of their lives far from shore, invisible to humans, until one drifts too close to the surface, or too close to a fishing net. The sunfish feeds primarily on jellyfish, creatures made almost entirely of water, with very little nutritional value. To survive on such food, the sunfish must eat constantly, hundreds of jellyfish every single day, slowly converting fragile prey into massive size. This diet gives the sunfish a critical role. It helps regulate jellyfish populations, preventing blooms that can collapse ecosystems, damage fisheries, and choke coastal waters. In silence, the sunfish keeps balance, without hunting, without aggression, and without defending territory. It has no sharp teeth, no claws, no speed to escape danger. Instead, it relies on size and the vastness of the ocean. Most predators simply ignore it, not because it is dangerous, but because it is not worth the effort. For millions of years, that was enough. The sunfish survived without fear, without strategy, and without enemies that mattered, until a new predator appeared. One that did not hunt for hunger, but for curiosity and culture, and chose. For most of its history, the ocean sunfish had no natural enemy that mattered, until humans arrived, not as predators driven by hunger, but as observers driven by curiosity. Early encounters with sunfish were accidental. Fishermen found them tangled in nets, floating helplessly near the surface, too large to ignore, too strange to understand. In many cultures, unfamiliar animals provoke one question: can it be eaten? In East Asia, the answer slowly became yes. Historical records suggest that in Japan, the ocean sunfish has been consumed for centuries. Known locally as manbo, it was never everyday food. It appeared during special occasions, or in regions where protein was scarce. Over time, techniques developed to prepare it, not to enhance flavor, but to make it safe. The sunfish is not easy to eat. Its skin is thick and rubbery, its flesh is dense and uneven, and its body contains parts that can be dangerous. Preparation required knowledge passed down through generations. Certain organs were removed immediately, others were soaked, boiled, or dried for long periods of time. Even then, the flavor was never remarkable. Those who tried it described the taste as mild, sometimes bland, more texture than flavor. So why continue eating it? The answer lies beyond taste. In Japan and neighboring regions, food has long been tied to experience, to season, to rarity, and to the story behind the dish. Eating sunfish was never about pleasure alone. It was about encountering something unusual, something few others had experienced. In some regions, every part of the animal was used: the flesh, the skin, even internal organs. This was not luxury, it was efficiency. But as time passed, the world changed. Food scarcity became less common, and sunfish consumption shifted. From necessity to novelty, restaurants began serving it as a curiosity, a dish meant to surprise, not to satisfy hunger. At the same time, scientific understanding increased. Researchers documented parasites, toxins, and health risks previously ignored. What was once tradition now raised new questions. Is curiosity enough reason to eat a vulnerable animal? Is tradition immune to reconsideration? And at what point does experience become exploitation? By the time these questions were asked, the ocean sunfish had already entered global awareness, not just as a strange fish, but as a symbol of how humans treat the unfamiliar. For those who have tasted it, the ocean sunfish rarely leaves a strong impression. Its flesh is pale, almost translucent, with a texture that feels dense, slightly rubbery, and uneven. Many describe the taste as mild, sometimes compared to boiled chicken, with a faint hint of seafood. Others describe it as bland, more about texture than flavor. In other words, the sunfish is not eaten because it tastes good. It is eaten because it is rare, unusual, and difficult to obtain. But taste is only half the story. The greater issue lies beneath the surface. Ocean sunfish carry an extraordinary number of parasites, more than almost any other marine fish. Dozens of species have been documented, living in the skin, the muscles, and the internal organs. This is not accidental. The sunfish's slow movement and long lifespan make it an ideal host. Some parasites are harmless to humans, others are not. Certain organs of the sunfish, especially the liver and intestines, can contain toxic compounds if prepared incorrectly. These toxins can cause severe food poisoning. Symptoms include nausea, vomiting, dizziness, and in rare cases, hospitalization. In Japan, several documented cases of mass poisoning have been linked to sunfish consumption. Entire communities fell ill, not because of reckless behavior, but because of small mistakes in preparation. As a result, local governments imposed temporary bans. Restaurants were restricted, and licenses were required to serve sunfish. Unlike other exotic seafood, sunfish offers little margin for error. One incorrect cut, one overlooked organ, and a meal becomes a medical emergency. This raises an uncomfortable question. Why risk so much for a flavor so unremarkable? For some, the answer is tradition. For others, it is curiosity. But as awareness grows, so does doubt. In a modern world with endless food choices, the danger begins to outweigh the experience. What was once considered adventurous now feels unnecessary and increasingly irresponsible. Because when a meal carries this much risk, the question is no longer about taste. It is about judgment. If stories like this matter to you, consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching.